In troubled times, how can we write? How can we not write? Hello and welcome to my writing journey. I'm Byerrum, a mystery author, as well as a playwright, children's book author, and writer of short stories and more. In these videos, I discuss writing-related topics, sometimes gossip, or current publishing events, or whatever it is on your minds. Feel free to comment, like, or subscribe to this channel. Now, back to writing. It is our vocation, our job, and our release. But these days, I know that writers are having a lot of trouble with sitting down and capturing their thoughts on the page. The news out there is overwhelming, and it feels like the world is blowing up. But I think we should still try to continue on with our work. We are lights in this world, and we should not let others dim us, the writers. Writing can be our comfort and our escape in troubled times. For example, I started writing stories when I was 13 to create a world where I was more at ease, with tales of adventure, of murder and mystery, and pirates. Why? Because reality sucked. Like many 13-year-olds, I believed my life was nothing but mockery and misery and drudgery. I was at public school for the first time, without the safety of my parochial school and classmates. The everyday was painful to me, but one afternoon, I took a notebook and simply started writing. The stories were my stress release. None of those stories exist today because I couldn't risk my family mocking me one more time. Why would I give them more ammunition? But those stories saved me. Later, when I was working at a really dismal job, I was inspired to write a play, a short play called Interviewing Techniques for the Self-Conscious, about a business called Less Stress for Success, which of course manufactured more stress. At the time, before I got my reporting gig, I worked in the marketing department of a large hair salon company, and one coworker was a pathological liar. He lied about everything. He once said he was a rock music critic in college. I asked him what he thought about Jethro Tull, one of my absolute favorites. He looked blank and said, "Stairway to Heaven? Ring, ring, ring. If you know, you know." He was no rock critic, and he drove me crazy lying about everything, until one day I realized I should be amused by him. I could use him for inspiration. I started writing down the stupid things he said and laughing. One of his tics was that he believed other liars. We had another notorious one in the department who we were sure had faked her portfolio from magazines. I was amazed they believed each other. And there was this time that inspired the story for my first book, Killer Hair. Now this happened. A random guy approached stylists in our Southern Virginia salon. The stylist called me because I was in the marketing department, and this guy had a marketing idea, and they had to have it approved before actually carrying forth with it. Anyway, this man strolled into the salon with a very creepy proposition involving radical haircuts, money to be made, videos, and a request to actually drop the cut-off hair at a gas station after hours. Does this sound like legitimate marketing practice to you? The stranger first said he was working with the Chamber of Commerce. Then he switched and said he was working with our marketing department, and then he said he worked for both of us. Total lies. Whoa. I requested he call our department the next day, and he did. Eventually, I wound up calling the police department to report this incident because it sounded so hinky to me. And the detective had a chat with the stylist the next day. My lying coworker, call him Sid, said to me, "It could be real. It could be a real marketing idea." I said, "Sid, the five of us are the marketing department. He's not part of us." The man called us the next day. I caught him in a major lie. He never called back, and our stylists were spared some really bad haircuts. Sid finally said, "I guess you were right." However, years before I wrote Killer Hair, involving a really bad haircut, I wrote a play inspired by The Liar. It had nothing to do with real events, but I came up with a scenario. It's a 2-character play, but with 4 actors. It concerns a job interview in which a woman applies for a job. She's desperate. She has this interview with a crazy man, and we see their outer characters, very polite, while 2 other actors play their inner thoughts. I turned my stress into creativity. Interviewing techniques for the self-conscious helped me cope with The Liar. It made me laugh a lot and resulted in a fair number of productions well reviewed. It helped me through a very stressful time. Now, I wonder how many books, plays, and stories are going to feature a demented orange-colored hate-monger and his awful cronies who all get their just desserts. We'll have to stay tuned. In the meantime, I have some ideas for coping in troubled times. First, don't dwell on more than one outrage a day. People being disappeared, rights being taken away, the war on women, the scandal of the day. I know it's hard, but it traps us into the quagmire, and the promoters of Project 2025 want that. They are counting on us being baffled and bemused, shocked and awed. We are not. Second, live your life. Enjoy some of the smaller pleasures that exist still. Go to the movies, a concert, the theater, visit with friends. And third, if story ideas come to you, write them down. They may come in handy for another day. If you truly cannot write, concentrate on writing adjacent tasks, walking, dreaming, exercising. These activities can soothe your mind, and you may find story ideas and characters come to mind when it has quieted down. Research. Obviously, research can be a hindrance if you get sucked too far in to the point where you can't return to what you're writing, to your project. However, it helps you focus on your topic, utilizes your skills, and accomplishes some of the advance work for your next writing project, a book assignment, a play. And reading. Don't forget to read. It is essential for writers to read. It doesn't have to be in your subject matter. Maybe it shouldn't be. Read everything: history, mystery, romance, true crime, science fiction, biography. It all helps to fill your empty well. And finally, don't give up hope. Your story is inside you. Those are my thoughts for today, and I will see you next time. Bye.